So it's a pleasure to welcome everyone. We have DAO ARK members here today. I want to show you today what we have done in the ARK consensus project, ARK Wallet. I will start with the presentation. I will show the presentation, tell you what there is at all, how it works, because there are a lot of updates. A year ago we started the project. I will tell you how it developed, what happened, what is happening with it now, how it will develop. Anyway, I will try to give you as comprehensive an account of what is going on as possible. So, screen demo, everything works great. So we had the project originally conceived early on, before the DAO ARK was created. The project was conceived as some kind of IT solution for reputation building on the blockchain. If anyone remembers, those of you, the first ones who were present at the first stream, we discussed that we could create a very good platform for enabling fair voting, and for creation of transparent investments, and for creation of the ability to develop a blockchain reputation of which can be used. We have done a lot of things this year. A lot of mistakes were made, a lot of good things were done, but overall we have definitely come up with some interesting results. I will show you which ones now. ARK Consensus Project. What has happened with it now? What is it? As of today, it's a kind of a hybrid. It is a hybrid of KYC and capture technologies to identify blockchain users while maintaining their anonymity. That is, we can confirm with ARK Consensus for any action a person takes in a blockchain that it is a real person, but at the same time keeping all their data anonymous. How does it work? 1 sec, please. So how does it work? Let's imagine any user. The user downloads ARK Wallet and accordingly passes Face ID, creates a blockchain address, and we turn their Face ID into a face vector. That is, we send their face data to the neural network. It converts it into a face vector. We encrypt it and move it to a database already within the blockchain. And it allows to create anonymized data of your face stored on the blockchain. And already this allows us to understand whether you are a real live user and whether the action you perform is performed by a live person. I mean, that's our main objective. And that's the first phase that we have, the product phase. I will be telling you next what it will be turning into, and now I need to fill you in on what is going on chronologically. ARK Consensus has ARK Wallet at its core. It's kind of like a cryptocurrency wallet with clear, easy to understand protections mechanisms. And there are two important technologies inside the cryptocurrency wallet. It's ARK Sign, that is what is connected specifically with Face ID, and ARK Security is how you log into this wallet in general, because we have modified it a little bit. I mean, we eliminated the phone number, we eliminated email, we eliminated all of that. We have a face, we will add a PIN code, we will add a fingerprint, we will have Google authentication. We only left the confirmation via Telegram and the seed phrase, that's it. That is, these are your keys directly to the wallet itself, to topping it up. Accordingly, we have 4 neural networks inside the wallet. One verifies that you are not a fake, that you are a real person, the video is real, not a deep fake. The second one captures and records the best position of your face in order to send to a neural network called face recognition. Face recognition, accordingly, before your face is recorded, asks the action detector to have you twist your head, wink, smile, well, generally do some interesting things. And that already allows to verify that you are a living person. And only then does your face turn into a real vector that flies off into the blockchain, and neural networks let you in. In addition, we have added an interesting feature. We will release it at end of August. It's sending crypto to a face. That is, to any person in the world who has a face. It doesn't matter if they have a wallet or don't have a wallet. You can simply send them money literally to their face from your ARK wallet. It works interestingly enough. I can explain in more detail a little later. But if you just imagine any person is walking down the street, you stop them and say, "Do you want me to give you $50? You just point your camera at them, at their face, and upload it to ARK Wallet. And we send a transaction in the blockchain to their face vector. And when a person goes to ARK Wallet, even though they may not have been registered there initially, when they register there, the app tells them a transaction to your face has come in, collect it. And the neural network determines that the person to whom the money was sent and the person who registered in the wallet are the same person. And it sends the money directly to them. Anyway, it's an interesting design there. We will use it for promotion, among other things. We have already written a smart contract and we are already integrating this feature. Expect an update in August. It will be practical. So it will be possible to just take a picture of any person's face everywhere on social media and send money directly to them. You can make in person or you can simply upload pictures, and the neural network will recognize the face and a payment will be created to that face. Now then, it's one of quite interesting things. Next, the ARK Sign technology for DAO. I mean, how are we going to approach DAOs? ARK Consensus. This will be a project to make sure that we can tie all actions in the blockchain to an individual, to a person. And how would that work inside a DAO? We are now already entering XDAO, meaning we are starting integration in it. And there, when you register, your DAO will have that tick. It means you are a real person, it's a real live address. And when you vote there, if you held some voting, and there in the voting, it was required to confirm your identity, that you are a living person, then, accordingly, there will be a tick. That means that voting was done and signed by real live people. So this is a very important addition. What interesting results do we have? The first one, we respectively released the app on App Store and Google Play. It's a big win, we did it. We redesigned the ARK Wallet and ARK Sign websites. I will show you the sites now as well so you understand how this story of ours works. Let me see. So here we have ARK sign, for example, in Russian to make it clearer. Let's go the English version right away. This is our site that was created specifically to allow us to integrate with different DAO registries such as XDAO and the like. Here we explain to DAOs what kind of problems they can solve problems with our help, what the 51% attack is. They can be sure there are live people there. We can identify such DAOs in which people are anonymous, and we can manage anonymity in general in a very flexible way. So we show it to them, we show them how it's going to work. I will show you on the screens how it works too. They will be able to create a web list on their DAO where they can see which addresses of theirs are live, which are not live, which have subscribed, which have not subscribed, and they will only need to scan the QR code through ARK Wallet. Now it will work in a similar way for DAO. As I explained to you, we tell any person that's going to be in the DAO, download the app. They download the app, pass the Face ID, scan the QR code, and we confirm that the action was performed by them. Accordingly, our task is to go as far as possible with the help of ARK sign into DAO registries like XDAO because they are directly the conduits of a large number of users. And here is some info about us. In general, such a site is a demonstration landing so that we can start dialogue specifically with such companies. It is for BTB sales. It also looks the same in Russian. We can provide you links to the sites later on if you want. We are positioning this technology for DAO as proof of humanity. That is proof of humanity, that you are a real living human being. Here, accordingly, there will be explanations already in Russian. In general, everything is the same here, only in Russian. Here, that's regarding the theme specifically for DAO. This is how it will work, and that is how it's already working now. We are already integrating. Okay, next, regarding App Store. Also an interesting point. Our app is available everywhere now. We went through really hard negotiations with App Store for the most part. I mean, we didn't have issues with Play Market, we had issues with App Store, we had to prove them there. The app is now available for download, anyone in the world can download it. We made it, updated the slides, updated the description, so we have this thing completely ready for distribution, the app itself directly. We even got our first downloads, 100 plus downloads. We are moving on slowly, step by step. Accordingly, it would be very good of you to download the app and leave feedback, preferably in English. You can use the translator, leave reviews, give a high score to the app. This will help its promotion and its evaluation because that user assessment, it's valued, it's perceived by App Store, Google Play, and others. And you can influence it both positively and negatively. That's the thing about websites and the app itself. Regarding technology, we have already connected Binance, Ethereum, and Polygon blockchains. They are already in the wallet. We are constantly introducing new functionality. We have over 1,000 people who are the hot community, over 2 million people who are the warm community. We also got preliminary support from a blogger with 24 million users, or rather subscribers. And I think that with him, we will be able to add another 24 million people of international audience to whom we can accordingly present the app. Well, at most 1% usually proceed to downloading. That's about 200 to 250,000. But these are also very good numbers. Accordingly, we have done testing of the cost of user engagement for 6 countries. We realize how much they cost. We now have a clear marketing strategy for acquisition of new users, and we have ambitious strategies for partnerships. For monetization, we will have monetization consisting of simple things. I will show you now. We have several types of monetization. How shall we do it? First and foremost is, of course, the fee for using Face ID. That is, every time you use Face ID, you will be charged just a few cents. And that's exactly the kind of commission that will create revenue. We made calculations for a certain number of users. And how can we make money on these users? Here, the calculations are roughly as follows. So we have a total of 48,000 transactions going on here. We make about $21,000. That's considering we have the Ethereum network, the BNB network, and the Polygon network. They are different networks. They have different commissions. We make money from different ones differently. That is, on average in Ethereum, we can make $3, but in Polygon, we make less than $1. It's usually 0.5 hundredths of a cent, half a cent, closer to a cent. BNB is even cheaper. That is, we can earn by volume. And every time a person uses it, we earn a tiny little bit of money. It's an important theme too. We calculated that by the average gas price on that blockchain, by the average commission. Accordingly, we further have a theme, as I recall, that is also the signing of contracts. So when we sign contracts in general, we can sign contracts for $100,000. Yeah, we create $100,000 worth of transactions on each network. There you go. That's how much per $100,000 worth of transactions. We do this for projects like XDAO, that for example, XDAO or any DAO, it can pay the commission of its users independently. And this is where we specify how much money it needs to make a certain number of transactions, votings, and other things. That is, these are BTB sales for projects. We made this function mainly for the game industry so that they could easily process their users without distracting them from the game. That is, to pay for them small commissions. Next, we also have a separate construction with commissions on smart contracts, on signing smart contracts, and this also generates some revenue. With 200,000 transactions, we get about $100,000 in profit. And accordingly, an option with the number of users. We see that if we have 500,000 users there, 25 of them are active users, that is about 125,000 active users. And everyone on average makes, for example, 10 transactions per month, then we get about 1,200,000 transactions. They respectively take place on different blockchains, Ethereum, BNB, and Polygon. And then we realize that, for example, about 10% of transactions are done on Ethereum, 60% of transactions on Binance, that is on BNB, and 30% on Polygon. And then we realize we make about $375,000. That is, every 500,000 users should bring us about $370,000 per month. This is purely commissions. This is the format of the business model that is now firmly established, the one we have now in the current mode. We will attach this business model to the token itself already in August. And there is also the important addition that all token holders will earn a share of the commission. So we will be sending some of the money from those earnings, from the profits, as cashback. And it's going to actually be cashback. This is about how it will work for us, how monetization itself will take place. Let's move on. I've showed you now more extensively. If in short, for 500,000 users, we have fees purely for transfers, we have crypto face pay, and we have a fee for buying crypto in the app. So it's when users can simply buy some cryptocurrency in the app. In other words, optimistically, we get about $4.7 million per 500,000 users. This is on the basis of having 500,000 users. I think that conservatively you can divide that number by 4, that's conservatively. Realistically, that figure is divided by 2. That is, I expect that 500,000 users a year should bring in at least $1 million. That's the kind of negative option that can serve as guidance. Let's move on regarding partners. We are now in the integration phase. Our goal is to integrate into different projects. Of the ones you know, we will be integrating with PyPack and MFPay. We will be used there as an authorization module. DAO, MFDAO, will also be just as a user, the same as a DAO ARK user of the same algorithm. We are entering the platform on XDAO. And then we have Globular and iNight. These two projects are also interesting. One is a legal project, the other is related to the DMFi project. That is, there is a game on blockchain there. They too are waiting to integrate with us. We have a clear development map. Our tasks now are to add a large number of blockchains to implement the function of sending money by face and to implement the function of confirming each transaction by face. Well, and then we are adding more blockchains, and that's an internal function, sending by contacts. Then we add fingerprint, and then we start to develop cash machine then, and the consensus method itself, when we create a reputation tied to that face. That's what we have for 2023. Regarding the marketing itself, we started with a capitalization of $2 million. That's how DAO ARK went into the project itself. We are in the process of launching, promoting project accounts on social networks. We are now doing closed testing of the app itself, and that allows us to identify mistakes, fix them, and keep working. To date, in principle, there already are no errors as such. I think that by the end of August or early September, we will be ready to start adding new fresh audience to the project. There are about 120 users there at the moment. That's just internal users, nothing more. Now then, next, we are planning the first partnerships with crypto services for September and the formation of already an international community project. We plan to start monetization from October, monetization-related functions. And we plan to have about 5,000 users there to show the traction, to show how our internal metrics work, how our application works to form a community. Further on, our next milestone is 10,000 users. And accordingly, we go directly into the project then. And I think that within a year, it will be possible to really reach several 100,000 users. And that's realistic enough. And as of today, we are presenting for investment dialogues a valuation of $10 million, a rough estimate. Now, regarding the investment proposal that we are making now, we are now in the phase of raising $1 million. That is, we have already invested $300,000 in the project, and we have already spent these $300,000. Accordingly, we invested $300,000 at the valuation of $2 million. We are now opening a short round for another $300,000. So here we divide this million into 2 parts. We take another $300,000 at the valuation of $8 million. And we will get the other $700,000 at $10 million valuation. That's our strategy for literally the next 3 months. Accordingly, next we have private round, then we have public round, and after the public round comes listing. We have this as a strategy for how we plan to move forward. We plan to close the private round, the next one, already with large funds at valuation of $40 million. By that time, there will be a fully functioning application with several 100,000 users, which is in the scaling phase. We are exactly in this phase with a large fund from Tier 1 countries. That is, these are the largest countries, we focus on them. And then we will go to the public round, and from the public one to the listing, that's the strategy. I think we will be letting in the funds in 2024, at the end of 2023, and beginning of 2024. Mid-24, that is the summer and fall of 2024, we will hold a public round and will be applying for listing. I think that listing of the token directly on exchanges will take place in the winter of 2024, but already on the big ones, meaning we can enter smaller exchanges sooner. We can enter small exchanges at the end of 2023, it's not critical. My task is to make sure that when entering an exchange, we have a high volume of token purchases and not token sales. Let's now discuss the app itself. I want to directly demonstrate to you now how it works. Okay, wait, one sec. You will now have a screen demo of the app somewhere. Okay, that's it. Okay, you see it now. So what is the essence? When a new user logs into ARK Wallet, they, when clicking on Create a Wallet, sign all the standard agreements. And so, respectively, the next task is to pass Face ID. How to pass Face ID? You have to smile and look straight ahead. It gives me a task up there, what needs to be done. It takes my face and says, turn your head to the right. Accordingly, I provided my face also in profile. It is taking it for additional verification. Accordingly, what happens in the next step? That's it. It says face recognized successfully, everything is fine. It says next, I will now show you a seed phrase. We just check the boxes everywhere and it gives us the seed phrase. We copy it. And we now need to save it. Okay, we will make someone happy with that seed phrase now. So accordingly, we will need to re-enter it now. There is no money in that wallet, just in case, so relax. All right, now we see the words maze. You just need to type in the words themselves in the correct sequence, respectively. That's it. I click OK and wait. The verification process itself is happening now. Look, that's it. Registration is completed. That's it. I click OK, done, wallet created. And watch now, I will show you an important point about how this thing works in general. I will take that screen off for now. Let it load for now. That's it. I have got it all loaded. An address was created. Accordingly, there are tokens. Any other tokens can be added as well. You can keep their USDT and others like Matic, for example. That's it. This is where you select tokens. Here, accordingly, you also have a place for ARKcoin. So, of the interesting things that we have done now, what happened on blockchain? Let me show you here from this screen instead. Look, we have a contract number. This is a smart contract that is linked directly to our Face ID to the ARK Sign module. That is, when we sign in, every time we sign in, the smart contract is adding an entry right here. I now want to show you an example when I was registering of what was going on in general. Here, using any user as an example. We have a contract address. Here it is the address of our contract as such, which does the work of the Face ID function on the blockchain. For example, let's look at any user. Here is the registration, for example. What do we see? First, we scroll down and see more. And right here in this box, we see this thing, add new user. What does that mean? It means this function adds a new user. So we understand that this transaction means that a new user has appeared in the wallet. What next? We change it into a slightly more understandable form for us. And we are getting data on IPFS on Web3 storage. I will explain to you now what Web3 storage is. There is Google's cloud storage. They are Web2. Google has them somewhere on Google or on Amazon. Web3 stores are decentralized data storages where to data can be sent. And accordingly, we get a link like that here. We go to the IPFS.io website and enter this data right here. And we get some incomprehensible alphanumeric gibberish here. What does it say here? The first column here is the face vector. What is a face vector? That's that very vector I will show you again now. Here it is, that same face vector, this column here. We put it here in the blockchain storage. The face vector is your unique face code, so to speak. It is a unique face code created only for you, which is yours, by which the neural network recognizes you in general. And it is here, that face vector. It's long, it reaches all the way up here. This is your unique face cipher. Everything I highlighted in blue is your face cipher. Next, there is the user wallet column. This is the number of the cryptocurrency wallet address which this face is tied to. In other words, we created a record on the blockchain where we linked the face cipher to the blockchain address that was created, and we also have an ARK account linked with this address. In other words, it is an account within our application. What does that mean? That means that within one account there can be many addresses, many blockchain addresses. But all these blockchain addresses will belong to one account which is linked to a specific person. So no matter how many wallets you create, we don't know whose wallets they are. But we know that these are 10 wallets belong to the same person. As it turns out, they are linked to the same person. Here's an example of how it works now. And already within the blockchain, we can see the following. We do not enter this complete record into the blockchain because it is expensive, it is a large amount of data. But we enter this data into a decentralized storage where it cannot be falsified or deleted. That's it, they are entered there unidirectionally, and nothing else can be done with them there. And then we insert a link to this Web3 storage here and also attach the address and its identifier. This is exactly the know-how that we have managed to implement. This is the most complex part of the technology. We also have a smart contract here, that is, it can be viewed. Let me show you here. When you go to our main contract, here is the contract and over here is the code. This code is exactly the smart contract that implements this function so that everything is created, everything gets linked. It is open, absolutely accessible to everyone, to every person in the world. This smart contract contains a couple of thousand lines of code. That is, it is, well, by the standards of smart contracts, it is considered relatively small. But it is functional. As you can see, it did perform all the functions properly. That's regarding the claim we made. How it should work, in the end, we do have it working that way. All of this, everything what you saw, that was me registering an account, linking the face ID, entering the seed phrase over here. Then on the back end, on our servers, the face was turned into a face vector. This face vector was transformed into a long cipher that you saw. And it is transferred to the blockchain using a smart contract. That is what I did during the registration, is exactly that process. And every time you make a transaction and sign it with your face, you will every time run this algorithm, and we will every time verify that this action is performed by a real person. Now, of the interest things, let me also show the capabilities of our application so that you understand what functions is has. One sec. Look, it means from what we have now, it is clear that you can send money to someone, you can receive it. You have an account in the form of a QR code, respectively, your address, as is convenient to you, you can use it. We will also add a function soon to send by face. That's respectively a standard QR code scanner here. About other interesting things, we have a news feed here. What kind of a news feed? I recently discovered it for myself. Here you get a daily summary for any individual cryptocurrency from 30 largest cryptocurrency news sources. In other words, for example, you want to know everything that's happening with Bitcoin. And this is today's most relevant news from the largest services on the Bitcoin topic. And you are briefly told here what happened. This is if you have invested in some specific cryptocurrencies. The same goes for USDT, for example. You open USDT and here you see everything related to it in the world, the top and most significant news on a single screen. It's just for convenience so that, yes, to make easy for you to familiarize yourself with the latest news. In other words, it's like learning something from regular Telegram channels every other day, every 2 days, every 3 days. With this feature, you can even have your own crypto channel. That is, you will get all the freshest news, cannot get any fresher. Even the time when this news was released in a foreign source is also indicated here. So you can even run your own news channels of some kind using this feature. Well, can you hear me, please? All right, great. Good, you can hear me. Great. Yes, indeed, these are serious USPs. At least no one else in the market is things like this. Well, and our task was to make something convenient? Yes, so we basically created a newsfeed within the application. All right, that was about the application itself. Let's move on to the functionality. You can, and I highly recommend it, install the wallet. You can add your wallets here. Alexander, we will add automatic translation. You can add your wallets, that is, you can create another wallet inside the ARK wallet. Or you can add your MetaMask with a seed phrase, or also add your Trust wallet with a seed phrase. And you can respectively transfer all the wallets, all the addresses you have, Trust wallet, MetaMask, and so on, over here. So now you have a convenient wallet like this where you can even keep all your wallets. And it is much more secure than all of them, plus you sign it with your face. Yes, it is definitely very convenient. I even recommend it. After you download it, you can add any wallet by seed phrase or separately add MetaMask and Trust wallets. They will be displayed right here as MetaMask and Trust wallet. And you can also export your wallet using a private key for those of you who know how to use private keys. In general, it's convenient. We also added Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin. The Bitcoin network, let me clarify, BTC. For now, we have Bitcoin forks. We will add the Bitcoin network itself, I think, in August or September. We will add it. You will also be able to use Bitcoin. In any case, you can load it to this address and it will be stored there. But we will add Bitcoin itself later. Look, another interesting feature, well, clear enough, there are modifications. The portfolio will also be added, a practical thing. In the settings, there also are face recognition settings. I highly recommend it too. You can define here what to confirm with your face. You can remove login by face, for example. But to remove something, you need to wink and smile at the same time. Then you look straight ahead, then to the right. The neural networks must verify that you are the owner of the wallet, that you are canceling some function. Your settings will change only after you have confirmed all this. That's it. You have changed the settings, but you could only do it by confirming with your face. This is also very convenient. No one can do it for you. I can say for sure, in general, I really like this wallet in terms of convenience compared to MetaMask and Trust Wallet, and in a month it will become even more convenient. We will also add a background, I think, in the near future, but that's for September. All funds will be transferred from the MetaMask account to the wallet account. If some tokens did not transfer, you simply click on Add Token and search for example, BNB. And BNB is on the Ethereum network, on the Polygon network, and on the network of BNB itself. In other words, you can use many different BNBs. USDT, for example, is available on Ethereum, on the Avalanche network, and on the OP network. And we will be simply adding many more networks so that you will have everything available. We do not plan a browser version of the wallet for now. I don't see the point in it right now. That was that. Let's move on. So it appears I have shown you the main functions, so to say. I highly recommend downloading the wallet. I highly recommend installing it. I highly recommend moving your current wallets there so that you have everything in one place. That was regarding all the wallets. As for security, you have seen for yourself everything so far. Security works most properly. Alright, further about interesting things, I will now show you the functions there are. Look, the first is the Face Pay feature, where you can confirm each of your transactions with your face. That is, it turns out that no matter what you do, no matter where you send it, it can be safely said affirmatively that it was done by yourself, for example. Or if the transaction was effected without your signature, then it's not a fact that you did it. You can tell someone, for example, please send a transaction and sign with your face so that I know that it was really you who did it. And exactly this function will make it possible to make transfers both safe and transparent. Next, face transfer. That's exactly what I showed you a while ago. You point the camera at any person or upload a photo, choose which token to send to them, and accordingly send it. Then either confirm by face, and if you removed face from the confirmation of the transaction, then simply send it to them, and they receive the token sent directly to their face. Moving on about the settings, we will expand them to understandable standard settings. Now then, we will add standard fingerprints to the settings. There will be a lot of languages. We will keep adding languages. Many languages will appear already within August, I think, all sorts of push notifications in which currency to display. That is, this is all cosmetics. We will begin to release these things in August and September. Our task was to make the main functionality, and customer support will be right inside the wallet. That is, you will chat with customer support right inside the application if something malfunctions there or doesn't work. Then we have transfers to contacts, but this is if you just recorded someone like, for example, Will Smith, so that you do not copy their address and do not search for the face. You can simply find them in your contact list and transfer to them. That is, this is also done for convenience. Here you can additionally protect with a PIN code and so on. It's all clear about a fingerprint. This is logging in by your fingerprint. Everything is in principle simple here. And now about the functions for business, for our partners, for projects, how it will work. For example, there is XDAO or Avagotchi game. There is a web interface. We have already written it. It will be available in August. It's a website. You open it by logging in or registering. If by registering, then simply authenticate yourself via MetaMask, Trust Wallet, ARK Wallet, and set a password. And then accordingly, you click on Project. If you are the owner of the XDAO project, for example, your wallet is immediately displayed here because there is a creator wallet in XDAO, and it is automatically highlighted. What happens next? You download a list of addresses here. What is it? Let me show you an example now with DAO ARK so that you understand how this thing works. Yes, the face can be removed or not removed. That is, working with the face is optional. Wait one moment, let me switch internet. Now look, about XDAO, how it will work inside the wallet. For example, we have our DAO ARK, and there are a certain number of users there. It will be possible to simply copy the addresses of these users. We will find it now here at our DAO, look. And somewhere here we have holders DAO ARK coin. We have holders here, 582 addresses. We can see all these addresses here. And we can simply download this list like that. And we will download all DAO ARK users, all addresses of DAO ARK users. I cannot pass the captcha. All right, pedestrian crossings. I passed it. I'm not a robot. So accordingly, you download it and you get a list like that. This is a list of all addresses. You take this list like this and upload it here to the web interface. I will show you now. You simply upload it here to this interface and you will have all the addresses, that is the name of the project, its ID, and accordingly when it will be verified. What you do next, you create a QR code for your users, which they must scan through ARK Wallet for making Face ID. And once they have made Face ID, it shows that it's all done, they are great, they passed it. Face ID passed or Face ID failed, as in this, for example, address. And then you get this. In DAO ARK, for example, we will have statistics, and there will be, say, 561 participants in the project. So many of them passed verification and so many did not pass verification, and we will understand that these here addresses belong to unknown persons. That is, either the participant is not involved at all or it is not a live participant, it is just a wallet where someone stores their tokens. As a result, we can ask questions to this wallet instead. And in this way, we establish how many real participants, real people we have. How does it work for the user? The user is simply shown a QR code, a message, scan the QR code. The user points the camera at it, passes Face ID, and that's it. The user does nothing more at all. And then we respectively understand whether the wallet works or not. And of course, there will be many different projects here, and you can see here the real number of users of different projects. That is, it will be a kind of a database of verified projects. That was about the function itself. We are currently implementing it in the first place. We will now actively use the business model on it. Not use, but do. Accordingly, what do we have about our wallet in general? We have ambitious plans, long-term ones. Further, in the next phases, we will already be creating ARK GT, that is, it's a reputation token. You will be able to get this reputation token by freezing your ARK coins. That is, you freeze the ARK coin and create a GT token out of it. And accordingly, you will get GT, you will successfully exchange ARK coins for GT, and will be able to participate in various reputation events. For example, the first thing we will do is debt obligations, that is, it will be possible to borrow and lend to each other under a simple contract. A very simple contract will be created, how much money you should give to whom, what they should pay back. You will sign this contract with your face, and accordingly, after you have signed it, you will have an agreement like that. And this agreement will be inserted in the blockchain. It will be like a receipt. It is an analog of a receipt, only in the blockchain and international, where you have created debt relations with each other, recorded them in the blockchain. And it says here when you have to pay the money back. Therefore, if you did not pay me money back, then I can take your reputation away. And in the blockchain, there will remain a warning that there is an unpaid debt on your face. And this is also an important point. You can discuss this situation, you can close the discussion, you can return the money and completely settle the debt. That is, it is a convenient design where we create peer-to-peer lending. You will have a credit history, notionally, your GT reputation, and based on this reputation, it will be possible to decide whether you should be lent money to or not. It's a nice big market amounting to billions of dollars, and we will move in that direction. Next, we will add crowdfunding topic, DAO topic, but we will be actively adding them next year. This year, our task is to add the creation of a GT token. I think we will try to make GT token by September. In October, we will try to launch debt obligations so that we can already attract users to borrow and repay debts. That is, microcredit organizations are turning up in this picture. Banks and blockchain banks are turning up. A new type of farming is turning up. This topic is rather interesting, and we will make it on the basis of the platform. That was about the functions themselves. Then a lot of things related to crowdfunding will be turning up. A lot will be turning up related to attracting investments in the same format with making a decision in a DAO, with managing your reputation. That is, we already have a whole lot of things created in advance, a bunch of screens created in advance. Our task is simply to implement it all. That is, the logic is also defined. We understand how and what will work at the blockchain level, how and what will work, where we will take a commission for a loan. Someone will be lending to someone, and then ARK Consensus will be taking 0.1% of the loan amount for this. And then the more people lend to each other, the more we can earn. And if these are loans, for example, between companies, one company lends to another company, say $5 million, then our commission can already be up to $5,000 for one such transaction. And that is, so to say, not much for that company, but for them, it is a guarantee that the result of the transaction will remain in the blockchain. And if someone does not repay the debt, then it will be impossible to hide it reputationally, and it can be revealed in any country. That is, you can find out that you owe something to someone in any country. Now, it is also an important topic which we are promoting, which we are creating. So what are we doing now? What else can I show you of the interesting things? All right, I showed you the functions, showed you this, showed you that, showed you the other interesting things. This is the site of ARK Wallet itself. It is also quite convenient, but we are currently redesigning it. It also tells about all the functions. It is mainly a presentational site. Next again, and next again. Well, these are probably the main points. And about the competitors too. We seem to have a good understanding of who we are competing with. We see those who deal with in KYC, that is user identification. We have a good and extensive analysis of all companies that deal with user identification, well, at least of those that are on the market. We singled out the best, the worst of them, and so on, that is, who's got which interesting features. Also, besides this, we have other competitors, so to say. It is simply consensus type, that is, working with reputation, when some project is engaged in extracting reputation and using it in the blockchain. We also know these projects well. There are not so many of them, about 18 in my opinion. We have analyzed all of them, we looked at all of them, what token mechanics they have, how they make money, how they develop, whether they have apps or not. There are also links and where they are present, on which networks, on which exchanges, and so on. This is also convenient for us. We spied on a lot of things, we saw a lot of things. Well, and accordingly, there is also an extensive analysis of wallets, crypto wallets. That is, we looked at ARK Wallet and compared it by literally 54 parameters with all existing wallets, including the top ones. We singled out good competitors out there, looked at which functions they have and which ones they don't. Well, and then there are weak competitors, that is, they are very weak, you can say so. We looked at, in principle, plus or minus the entire market which we could reach. Based on this, we formed an idea of what should be inside and whether it will develop. We therefore have everything quite well set up here. Now next, yes, in principle it is an understandable construction according to the go-to-market strategy. That is how we plan to develop ARK Wallet now. We have a fairly clear marketing idea of how we will enter the market, where we will get users from. We will now be integrating into DAO registrars, into GameFi and Metaverse, into DeFi projects. That is, our task now is to attract several 100,000 users. This is what we will be doing. And it is a task for the next 6 months, several 100,000 users. I think that 300,000 is realistic, and then it will be possible to get quite decent money, decent earnings. We have an understanding of where the partners are, whom we will go to, respectively, how they are useful to us, and how many potential users they have for us. That is, someone has several hundred, for example, someone has several thousand, someone has several tens of thousands. XDAO, for example, can immediately give us about 20 to 25,000 users into the project, and this is also important. We are therefore actively integrating there, including, you remember, we invested in XDAO. I also had in mind that investing there can be useful for us because we can also come to them as to partners and say, guys, we have made a very good and useful for you technology. Please promote us. And since we are partners, we still have more privileges, we have more preferences. We are, so to speak, affiliated with them. That was about the development, what we are doing now. Next, we will have the investment phase. The money that was allocated has, as a matter of fact, been spent. We have a small private investment, $20,000. One of the participants decided to invest privately, and a few more have expressed interest. So right now, we are in the intermediate stage of investing $300,000. Our task is to use these $300,000 to start attracting an audience. And respectively, it is for fine-tuning our wallet. It is for September, October, November, December, January, and February. So for the next 6 months, $300,000 will be allocated to the project, including marketing. We estimate that we're currently ready to let in 8 million people. So far, we have already invested $20,000. At the moment, there are about 50,000, and another small community wants to join, as well as another community of about 20,000. Therefore, what I want to kind of propose regarding this, we had a pre-seed round. In this round, we essentially gave 15% of the tokens to DAO ARK for $300,000. So DAO ARK now owns tokens that we gave to them a 15% share. I have already provided a detailed explanation in the previous stream. If anyone can, please share it in the comments. It explains exactly why this was done, why exactly so. It will make everything clear for you. These 15% of tokens are locked for 18 months. After this time, 3% will begin to unlock and they could be sold. But during these 18 months, the tokens will generate income through cashback and commission payments. Currently, we are conducting a seed round, 10% of the tokens. It is divided respectively into two sub-rounds, 3% and 7%. Right now, we are selling 3% of tokens. We are selling them to private investors as well. I would also like to make a request to DAO ARK now for $25,000. First of all, we offer to DAO ARK at a reduced valuation. $25,000 now is important money for the project's development. We had already raised $20,000. They are being spent. And now we will letting in private investors and small communities. Our goal is to raise up to $300,000 through these means. And after that, we will then raise $700,000 either from larger communities or medium-sized funds. That is, so far, proposal will be directed to smaller and medium-sized funds. I have also explained this in one of the investment streams. Our goal is to raise $300,000 from small communities, DAO ARK, and their participants. So if any of you want to invest privately in the wallet token, specifically in the ARK consensus token, you can do so. You have such opportunity. You simply need to write and kind of indicate the amount you want to invest. That was that. We will attract small and medium-sized funds at the seed round, and then we will let larger funds in. This is roughly our strategy. Now regarding costs. Let me check if they have been updated. Yes, they have been updated. Look, in August, we have already invested $8,000 from there, and now our task is to raise more. That is, technically, the investments we made have been fully spent by August. I also showed the cost structure in a separate stream about the wallet. You can watch it if you have not seen it. Therefore, right now, we are in a phase where we are actively progressing, developing, and raising money. Money is already coming to us from external sources as well. That's why we currently have 3 entities. First is DAO ARK. I propose to hold voting on allocating additional $25,000 in exchange for tokens. We have already allocated $20,000 for private investments. Additionally, I propose to DAO ARK participants, individually, those who want to also invest in the token privately. You can write to me. You will have such opportunity. Of the interesting things of what we have in terms of current development and marketing strategy, we now have a product in the Merlin Clone project, a neural network operator course for children. We are introducing this product in different countries. That is, it's courses for school students. We help them to quickly learn a new profession. We will launch it in September, and there will be a huge challenge: how to accept payments from students in different countries and organizations. The simplest solution is cryptocurrencies. Therefore, we need to provide a secure solution for accepting payment from students. And our main focus is to make the ARK Wallet exactly that app that will be officially used as payment method for students, so that we would be sure that it is them who earn and spend this money. This will be important for educational institutions, organizations that will pay them, and education ministries that will oversee the process. We already have agreements with Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Azerbaijan. We also have agreements with Russia and a sufficiently clear entry point to Africa. Overall, I believe that within a year we can let in over 1 million students who will earn something online. We want to see most of these people using the ARK Wallet, generating transaction and transfer fees, commissions for withdrawal, and so on. That is, for us, these are good paying users who will carry out transactions and grow, so to speak, already with ARK Wallet. That is, it will become the first wallet in their life, and we will be, as it were, the first crypto app that will appear on their phone at all, and therefore they will learn about cryptocurrencies through us, among other things. We want to grow a whole generation that starts their crypto life with us. And that is exactly about our long-term plans now, what we expect to achieve in a year or a year and a half. This is what we are actively targeting, the teenage audience, 14 years and older, and being the first crypto application they have on their phones, so that we gradually accompany them all the way. Accordingly, we will create additional products there as well, and so on. So that is that interesting design that we have for development. Well, in general and overall, this is the situation we have. I seem to have outlined everything regarding the wallet. I will now happily answer your questions. You can write them or ask them using your voice. I will try to respond as actively as possible. Yes, access to certain features can be limited to verified users only. From what amount can private investment be made? Well, I think a minimum of $1,000, but preferably from $5,000. That is why our strategy is definitely for the long term. We are looking at how things will develop. As for the wallet, yes, the wallet has its own token. The ARK Consensus project will have its own token. We are currently writing it, and it will be ready by the end of the month. We will add it to the app functionality, integrating it with blockchain functions so that it can be used to earn money. The DAO ARK token will be separate, so it is important to differentiate here. There was a stream where I was explaining how we will arrange differentiation of these tokens. DAO ARK has its own token, ARK Consensus has its own. DAO ARK bought 15% from ARK Consensus at a valuation of 2 million. Now they are selling at a valuation of 8 million. That is, there is growth, there are tokens. DAO ARK will receive respectively commissions from the activity of the app itself and from the commissions that will be there. They will also be paid as dividends to DAO ARK members. Yes, this is what regards that. And how can I connect to DAO ARK from DAO through my ARK Wallet? In September, you will already be able to connect to DAO ARK through ARK Wallet from DAO in general as a whole. Yes, we are in the process of adding it. And now your questions, ask, clarify, and put them forward. I'm ready to tell you everything. In general, I showed that we are actively moving forward. Especially in the last 7 months, we have had a very active, clear working period. That is, the actual development of the product has been going on for 7 months. This is if we really take development, that is what we do, what is turned into a specific code. Within 7 months, we have done a good deal. I will not say that we have done a lot. The maintenance of the wallet, marketing plus development, cost about $25,000 a month. Pure development costs about $13,000 to $14,000 a month. This is in the current phase. Therefore, we have understandable costs. These costs need to be covered. The first monetization will begin, I think, more or less noticeable. It is clear that we can start receiving money already in August from commissions, but some already more or less significant money. They will begin to appear only in roughly 3 months. This project needs funding now in the form of investments for development, first of all, and for attracting users. Plus, we have the face pay function, which we will also use with the help of bloggers and add a large number of users to the wallet by sending transactions to the face. That is, a whole construction was developed there. We will also implement it. ARK Wallet and ARK Consensus tokens are the same thing. Yes, these tokens are the same thing, same token. That is, we have 1 token inside the application, 1 token in DAO ARK. That's it. We have, as it were, 2 tokens. A request. Can you share again the link to the stream regarding the various DAO ARK and ARK Consensus tokens? Yes, of course. We will post it in the general group so that you can see it. Now then, moving on. I would be nice to understand what the tokenomics of the DAO token itself is. The DAO token has simple tokenomics, like of a fund. It is valuated by the sum of assets and dividends, calculated according to a certain logic, as it were, and that's all. That is, DAO ARK is just an investment cooperative, which is valuated like any investment cooperative. That is, this is not a separate IT project, but just a community of investors who jointly invest somewhere. Therefore, there are no lockups or vesting periods in DAO ARK. Lockups and vesting periods only apply to the application itself. The ARK Consensus token has lockups and vesting periods because it will be listed on major exchanges. We plan to list it on major exchanges. The DAO ARK token will be listed on the exchanges for DAO, and we already have dividends there. Tokens are already circulating. You sell and buy tokens. That is, it already has its own history, so cliffs and vestings do not matter there either. Cliffs and vestings are only inside this, inside the app, inside ARK Consensus. It makes sense there, so that's that. DAO ARK is the symbol of the DAO token. Well, we will simply make the ARK DAO token and that's it, but we will leave ARK Consensus in here. What is the mechanism for investing in the Consensus token? You need to write to us. Then we create a list of investors, take the money. As soon as the token arrives, we freeze it. That is, it will be frozen, you will not be able to use it, but at the same time it will bring you a reward. That is, it will be frozen, it is inactive for transferring, but active for receiving commissions. That's the mechanism we are building. Therefore, you just need to write to the administrator. The administrator will form a list first. We, or rather I, will have to approve this list, and the final confirmation will come already from me. That is, I will say how much money we can eventually accept from you for this project, because we are not ready to take 200,000 from a single person. We are ready to go to accept money from DAO ARK members. We are ready to accept from $1,000 to $20,000 or $30,000 per person. From the external market so far, we are accepting from $5,000 per person. Therefore, here, as it were, the participants of DAO ARK have their own certain advantages, including the valuation by which we sell. Next, will it be possible to give an Aton wallet? So far, no, but I think this is a question for September, October. It will be possible to add Aton, but I will need to clarify with the programmers about adding a blockchain, because blockchain must be added, supported on the servers, so this story has its peculiarities. Will it be possible to transfer part of the funds from DAO ARK tokens to ARK Consensus tokens? Purely technically, yes, you can just sell them and transfer. This is possible. That is, you can sell them and buy ARK Consensus tokens with this money. Look, according to the strategy, we are now going into the Web3 project, that is, blockchain projects. The main thing for us is DAO registrars, GameFi projects, and decentralized finance, projects related to this where there are groups of people. These are the 3 main vectors where we are heading. The next vector is Web 2. That's what I was talking about, education. That is, we want to make it convenient for children to accept payments in this infrastructure. Because we have the opportunity to launch an ARK Consensus app, we can implement it there, and people there will be able to accept money for themselves without any problems. So there is also, I think, a good theme. And if attract children there, then they can use the app for many years and accordingly create commissions for many years. This is also very important. And this is, as it were, a kind of a long-term strategy. The short-term strategy is blockchain projects. The long-term strategy is the education of children. Yes, investing in education is the most effective way to combat crime. Regarding Merlin Clone, it is a separate project. I might do a stream for DAO ARK at the end of the month. I will tell what we are doing in general and what projects, what progress we are making, and so on. Face ID. If you shave your beard, will the wallet recognize you? Well, look, Alexei Beketov has a very big beard. He does have some issues with registration, but he has a very big beard and twisted mustache as well. The guys told me that he had some difficulties with registration, but in general, that's simply because he has an abnormal beard. But the app should recognize you without your beard, I suppose. If your beard is the same as mine, it will recognize you without any problems. If your beard covers half of your face, there might be some difficulties. It's similar to wearing a mask that covers half of your face. In any case, there will be some margin of error. So be careful, but try to do it in a clear and understandable way. In any case, you have your seed phrase, which is your key. Therefore, when we write our own blockchain, we might be able to move away from the seed phrase. But that will require writing our own blockchain, which will take no less than 1.5 to 2 years. What about the initiative to allocate $50,000 instead of $25,000 for DAO ARK? I sort of don't see the point. DAO ARK has already invested a lot, $200,000 for development and $100,000 for marketing. I think that's already sufficiently much. Right now, we just need an additional investment of $25,000. $50,000 would be excessive. It would be better to raise an additional $50,000 privately from other investors. Our own blockchain? Yes, definitely, for sure. Well, look, we have specific tasks. We work with GT tokens. That is, currently we are using other blockchains. It's clear that we use external blockchains, but as a serious project, I believe creating our own blockchain reputation makes sense. We need to create own blockchain. The fact is that developing your own blockchain, that is $1 million. About $1 million from 800 to 1 million. Our goal, I suppose, is to do it when we have the free funds to do that. That is, I think that when the funds will start coming in, then it will be possible to allocate money for the blockchain. This is approximately 2024, the end 2024, when it will be possible to talk about our blockchain and then ride it for about a year. So our own blockchain will not appear before 2025, but it will be a very substantial one. We will take the best elements from existing blockchains, and there will be a strong focus on artificial intelligence. That is, it will be just the same as when we analyze competitors for the wallet in Consensus, in QIC. Here we will analyze all the blockchains in the same way. And I think that for 1.5 years we will do the work of simply analyzing blockchains, their functions, auditing their functions, minuses, pluses, and then we will spend around a year developing it. I think that we will make some fresh and good blockchain. It will be consensus chain. And this chain will be specially made exactly for reputational movements, to create a blockchain of world reputation. I am looking in this direction for now. In principle, we actually talked about this. It was just that at that time, it was not clear how to implement it technologically. But now we are already implementing it, creating it. I don't know about the ETH killer, but it would be nice to compete. It would be nice to get into the top 10 to push the folks there a bit. I think purely technically, it's possible if you work hard. With money, professionals, and goals, everything is kind of more than real. At least we are showing that we are moving forward. That is, we have made a good app with complex features that are useful for the market. Our task now is just to work for 1.5 years so that we accumulate money and have a large number of users. When we achieve this, we can start developing our own blockchain. Then we will know that we have money and we have users that we will get in there like that. Children grow up, the face changes. Will it not turn out that the wallet will stop working for children? No, we save all face vectors specifically for this. That is, in fact, every time you make a confirmation with your face, every time you leave your face, but a modified one. And tens, hundreds, thousands of variants of your face remain. For example, 10 years go by. During this time, you will have made 10,000 different transactions, for example. We will have 10,000 different vectors of your face. They are about 99.9% similar, about 99.9%. But 1%, 0.5%, 0.1% changes in your face, and we can record all these changes. That is, in fact, the longer you use the wallet, the much more accurate its work will be. That is, this is specific, that it is being finely tuned because we record all the states of your face. Over a few years, you show your face in all variations and in every way, and accordingly, this will allow you to work from a large number of angles. So it is a very useful thing. We will need to add the function of creating animation of growing up over 10 years of using it. Well, that's also a good thing, by the way. This in principle can be done. It is realistic. Such a function is realizable for us. So, well, in general, that's the way the things are. It seems I have not talked for longer than 1.5 hours. I tried to tell you everything that we have. I hope you found it useful. I hope we live up to expectations, although my personal expectations are not fulfilled. That is, I confess to you that this project is the most stressful for me of all my IT projects. What I feel most is broken deadlines and broken commitments. My professional competencies, my professional self-esteem on this project were undermined in terms of budgeting, in terms of timing, in terms of serviceability and how it should work. And yes, I've definitely reconsidered here a lot of things, made a lot of different adjustments. But this was happening in principle during the first months. Now we are simply working in a normal mode. That is, I can confidently say that over the last 6 months we are doing great in terms of development. In terms of marketing, we were behind. We are just starting to develop now. Therefore, for now, I will say that for me, the project is progressing satisfactorily in terms of the speed of progress, something like a 3 on a scale of 5. That's about how we want things to be. Accordingly, the next iterations of investments, of time, they of course will be much more efficient now. They are already happening effectively. That is, over the past month, we see that the wallet is already released, the functions are working, the wallet is working. We need about 2 months, a month and a half for cosmetic things to make it understandable in different languages, introduce many options with translations, including news, in general to now add the missing features. This will then be a fully designed, completed version of the app. And then we simply develop ARK Consensus internally. It can be developed for years. That is, as you can see, companies like Facebook, Binance, they are constantly changing. That is, the development process is ongoing. And accordingly, we will work on Consensus here in the same way. But the part of the wallet, it is actually already at the final stage, and it is the foundation for us. That is, the wallet itself is the foundation, and Consensus already contains the wallet in itself. Therefore, I hope that in the next 6 months, we will work for at least a grade of 4, kind of in terms of deadlines, budgets, and functions. If we simply work for a grade of 4, it will be cool. Accordingly, we will have more money, we will be able to hire more professionals. We will be able to hire more members to the team, we will be able to involve professionals in addition to those that we have, international pros. So my task is something like that. And accordingly, out of $1 million, 250 to 300,000 will go into development. And this will now be a good, interesting development. That is, we will increase the team, increase the quality even more, create an increase in staff numbers. Therefore, so far we are moving forward. So for how long will the ARK Consensus token be frozen after the purchase? For 12 months on this round, for 12 months. That is, the token is frozen for a year. It will not be possible to move it anywhere, but you can still receive money for it from the commissions. Will it be possible to receive instructions on the scheme of transfers from ARK in the general channel? If you sell ARK, sell the DAO token to someone, then you can simply buy a Consensus token with this money. The exchange for DAO, in my opinion, is planned for September, October, as far as I know, the exchange for DAO on XDAO. And then it will be possible to sell the DAO ARK token already on the exchange, or buy it there, or buy more of them. Well, that was an overview from me. So my friends, I seem to have covered everything.